Hi and welcome to Pathlesstrodden. It's Alison here. Today I wanted to talk to you about wheat intolerance, something that is more common than a lot of people think. And I've shipped in my boyfriend because he's had a problem with wheat intolerance and has a lot of experience, and I wanted him to share his journey with you because I thought it would inform and educate and maybe just inspire you. So first of all, Rob, explain what the problem you had with wheat was and what your symptoms were.
Okay, it was about 5 or 6 years ago I started getting diarrhoea, and I briefly consulted a doctor on this, and they said, oh, it's probably just a tummy bug if you just eat a bit less, stop eating, eat simply, that sort of thing. And that seemed to work and I got better, but then a few weeks would go by and then I would get worse again. And the problem is there's a limit to the number of times you can do that before you start getting quite thin. And I was getting quite worried about it when somebody suggested maybe it's a food intolerance. And so I stopped eating wheat, and I stopped eating dairy at the same time actually. And my energy levels went through the roof. I mean, I knew there was something in this the minute I stopped. It was amazing.
Okay, and do you think that you had celiacs? Because it sounds like your symptoms are similar to what people describe from celiac.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I didn't go back to the doctor, so I don't know for certain. What I do know is that after I stopped eating wheat, I found, I think about 2 months went by, and at that point I tried some wheat again, and I had blood in my stools. It was not pretty. It was I was far more sensitive, basically. And even to the point where when I worked in a cafe and there was flour in the air and that sort of thing, and a few days later I'd have blood in my stools from that. And so, I mean, that's classic symptoms of celiacs, but who knows? I never had the camera at my bottom, and thankfully.
Okay. And so explain now from there to now how your diet's changed and what you actually did to improve your digestion.
Well, okay, I think the thing I've got to stress here is that you don't just, although I got that huge energy level boost, you don't just stop eating something and then, oh, everything's alright, go on with my life. It took a few months like that, and I found that I started feeling as if I was sensitive to other cooked grains like potatoes, rice, sweet potato, that sort of thing. So, okay, not just cooked grains, long chain starches is really what it seemed to be. And I ended up on a diet called the specific carbohydrate diet, which is basically, it gets rid of these particular types of vegetables and grains. And it was pretty miserable. It's a long progression of a diet. It's supposed to go on for many years, and I stuck it for about 6 months. But I did, during that period of time, my tummy healed quite considerably, and after that I got in touch with a natural hygienist, Keki Sidwa, who said, come with me, have a water-only fast for 7 days, and you will be able to eat cooked grains again. I was a little sceptical, but I gave it a try, and apart from being an amazing experience for other reasons, this fast, after it, I had some sweet potato, and it was fine, and then I had some rice, and that was fine, and yeah, it made an enormous difference to my digestion. So okay, I'm back on cooked grains again. However, a few years later, meeting Alison, we eventually ended up eating raw, and of course then I stopped eating the cooked grains again. And however, I have been eating sprouted grains.
Okay, and how have you found the sprouted grains have been?
Well, that's the really special thing. You see, I've had sprouted rye, I've had sprouted barley, sprouted buckwheat, I've also had sprouted wheat, and it's been absolutely fine.
Okay, so there's something that I think is quite amazing. Here's Rob, who only sort of 5 or 6 years ago couldn't eat wheat because of an intolerance, to the point where he had blood in his stools, and now he's actually able to eat sprouted wheat. I think that's just astounding. And what do you put that down to?
I put it down to a combination of things. I think first of all it's time without eating, you know, refined wheat. Some people find that they have a problem with refined wheat and not with unrefined wheat, you know, so that sort of refined cooked wheat is a giving your tummy a really hard time, and some people just can't cope with it. Well, a long time away from all those sorts of food, I think my tummy's healed a great deal. I also think the fact that the wheat that we're eating isn't cooked makes a difference. I mean, since I've been on raw food generally, my tummy has just, it's relaxed, you know, it's made an enormous difference to how I feel. And also I think the fact that the wheat is sprouted makes a big difference as well. I mean, you can see that the grains themselves, they're soft, they're squidgy, they seem more like the sort of thing that you would eat. If you look at a wheat grain that hasn't been sprouted, it doesn't look.
Yeah, the sprouted ones just look so full of life force. They're bursting with energy.
Exactly.
Okay, great. And what advice would you give to someone who perhaps has just found out they've got a wheat intolerance, or who's some way down the path to dealing with a wheat intolerance?
I mean, definitely just, if you haven't already done it, give up eating wheat. I think I'd recommend anybody give up eating cooked wheat products, to be honest, just mainly because of the way that they're processed. And I think beyond that, it's definitely worth carrying on down the rabbit hole and exploring the different possibilities of things that you can eliminate from your diet, because I think if you have one problem, it's not just wheat. It's almost certain that there are other things that you're intolerant to varying degrees, and it's definitely certain that by changing your diet and exploring it and improving it, you can get far more well-being and performance out of your body and your mind. And so yeah, that's the advice I give. Explore, investigate.
Great, thank you very much, Rob. So on that explore and investigate note, visit my website www.pathlesstrodden.com. You'll learn how you can sprout grains on there, so you can make some of your own sprouted wheat, and then you could possibly have fun with it in a dehydrator, and also you'll find more recipes and more tips on how to live a healthy lifestyle and get some more healthy food into your body. Thanks very much.